Yes, sir.
Elijah Muhammad.
Elijah Muhammad, what about him?
Racist. He was racist. I used to listen to me in New York on the radio on Sunday afternoons. He preached racism.
Okay. Well,
referred to white people as devils.
Well, let me explain.
Yes. He said that we were created by evil scientists.
Let me explain. Let me explain. The question from the gentleman in the front is, wasn't Elijah Muhammad indeed a racist? The gentleman says that he used to listen to him on the radio in North America, I believe, in New York, and the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, he says, referred to white people as blue-eyed devils, and that they were created by a mad scientist in a laboratory or something like this. Okay, first of all,
like America.
First of all, let me say, you know, when you say racist, you've really got to understand, first and foremost, look, when you have not a prefix, when you have a suffix to a word, I like the fact that you're wearing your bow tie. It means that you're an intelligent man, so you will understand what I'm saying. When you have a suffix, when you have an ist at the end of the word, it is something that is informing you about the expertise or the quality or the skill involved in that particular thing. For instance, a pianist, a violinist, a scientist, a racist. Okay, why do you have this suffix? It is because when one is proficient in the violin, one becomes a violinist. When one is proficient in science, one becomes a scientist. When one loves his race, one is a racist. However, it does not necessarily mean it has to be in a negative way. For instance, let me explain, please. Let me explain. When Elijah Muhammad was born in 1897, racism was in the world.
That's right. That's right.
Right? You agree with me? Okay, so don't talk about Elijah like he invented racism. Racism was in the world. The slave master came for us in 1555, 400 years ago, and we can take it back beyond that. However, the point I'm making is this. Now, with Elijah, you got to understand now that he was born into a world where he was witnessing black men being lynched. He grew up in that era where black men were hung for no reason, where we were subject to all manner of disgusting treatment and disgusting laws. Ku Klux Klan killing us, burning us at the stake for no reason other than the fact that we were black people. Now, when Elijah Muhammad, look, the Jews, Adolf Hitler engineered a program where he caused 6 million Jews to be killed in gas chambers during the Second World War. Go to any self-respecting Jew today and ask them, what is Adolf Hitler? And they will tell you he was a devil.
That's right.
What is a devil? The word devil is a term that means, the word devil is a term that means one who devalues.
That's right.
A devaluer. Those Jewish lives were valuable in the eyes of God. But here is a man that comes along now and takes away the value of human beings and destroys them as a human reality. That is the act of a devil. This book, Quran, talks about the devils and talks about people, human beings who are devils in the manifest evil that they do. Now, that was over 4 years that Hitler was doing his devilishment.
Teach.
We can count back 400 years of the most brutal treatment. Look, they took my name, my language, my culture. They killed my mother, my father, denied me religion, disallowed me to read or write for over 300 years, reduced me to the level of an animal where they branded me on my chest, branded me on my buttocks with a branding iron. And they called me 3/5 of a human being in the American Constitution. Is that the act of a human being or the act of a devil? It's for you. You answer it. We're not, oh, just calling white people names. No! We're just going on the basis of what we have experienced. And so Elijah Muhammad was not a racist in the negative, but he was a racist, yes, in that he at last loved himself and loved his people. Black people were taught to hate ourselves.
That's right.
Even to this day, many of my people suffer from self-hatred.
Teach Muhammad.
And you will see us trying to change our skin color.
Teach Muhammad.
When I was born in the 50s, in Jamaica, they would take, you know, like my nose, the mothers would sometimes take the nose and try to squash it.
That's right.
To make it straighter, because they didn't like this nose because it was too, what they call negroid. And they would try and squash it because they'd been so conditioned to hate self that they felt that the baby was ugly if it had thick lips and broad nose and black skin. And so this is the, in order to counterbalance that degree of self-hatred, there had to be a teaching given by Elijah to black people that would allow us to fall in love once again with ourselves.
That's right.
To have self-respect and to identify that one who was primarily responsible for our destruction. And so I say to you, I understand. Now, just to address the point that you made about the mad scientist. We hear this all the time, but at no point did we say the scientist was mad.
That's right.
That's the only thing I wanted to correct you on. Everything else is correct. Yes, the Caucasian was created or made via a process of genetic engineering.
That's right.
This is the history that we have been, this is the, yes, it's true. Yes, it's true. Huh?
Older group.
What's an older group?
In anthropology, it's an older group.
The Caucasian?
Yes.
No, sir.
Oldest group in the three groups, right?
No.
Negro and
Okay, let's deal with it.
The origination of the word human.
Yes, I will. Thank you very much. Let's deal with this. See, because look, I know you're a wise man, and so you must understand that I'm a baby in wisdom, but I'm not a fool. And he's saying here today that the Caucasian is in fact the oldest group on the planet. I beg to differ. Look, one of the most famous anthropologists is Professor Leakey. And when Professor Leakey went in search of the origin of human beings and human species, he didn't stop very long in Europe. He went to Africa. And the oldest bones and the oldest human beings to this day that you call Zinjanthropus, using the Latin meaning Zin and Xanthropus, meaning a black man, that oldest man, they say, is millions of years old. You went back and found one even older than that. You called her Lucy, a black woman.
Go ahead.
And every sensible historian, anthropologist today agrees that the black man is the father of human beings. Even your geneticist, Mr. Mendel.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
You have Mendel's law.
Go ahead.
Mendel says that light eyes are recessive, light skin is recessive. You can take the recessive, the dark skin is dominant, the dark eyes are dominant. You can take the recessive from the dominant, but you can't get the dominant from the recessive. This is Mendel's law. And so all of your scientists have proved that you can't look. Black is not even a color.
That's right. Teach.
Black is the mother and father of all colors.
Teach.
That's why the scripture says, in the beginning was blackness. And if you want a baby, even if the woman is a white woman, the baby has to come out of the triple darkness of her womb. And this is the origin of all life. Within the black, you have the whole color spectrum. But in white, you can, two white people laying down together, they can only produce white. But two black people in darkest Africa can lay down together and produce albino with blonde hair and blue eyes.
That's right. Teach, Muhammad.
This happens all the time. And so we need to really get these facts correct today and understand that as gray as your hair is, you are listening to your father today.
Teach, Muhammad.
This is daddy talking.
Teach.
And we mustn't turn. No, this is true.